So my name is Changpeng Zhao. I'm the CEO of Binance. Some people call me CZ, some people call me CZ. I go with all three. So today is a truly humbling experience. I think humbling was the word that people use today, and I think I can really appreciate that. From 5 years ago to now, I think blockchain has moved along, come a long way to United Nations now. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about actually only one thing. Being a very lucky entrepreneur, I think I'm always laser focused on one problem and one solution. So for the sustainable development goals, there are 17, but I think there's one problem that we're trying to solve. And that problem's underlying all 17 goals. And a solution exists right now. It's staring us in the face. And we say that word all the time. And today, I'll be announcing a platform that we're launching today, a real solution. So as an entrepreneur, we always get things done. So these are the three things I'll talk about, and I'll leave a little bit of time for questions at the very end. Next slide, please. So the one problem and one word I want to talk about, and I want everyone to take away, is transparency. I think blockchain has many other benefits, and many other advantages, but this is the word that I want everybody to remember, and this is the issue we're tackling today. So for transparency. So I personally strongly believe that with better transparency, we can achieve 100 times more results. So this means the social impact results, the social impact size, the charity size, the charity that we can do, the efficiency that we can do them at will all increase 100 times more, not 100%, just 100 times more. So I think transparency is what's I think is one of the factors that's holding us back, and that's one of the issues we want to address. Next slide, please. So today, I think most of you guys probably know this better than I do because you are more involved in charity, social impact work, etc. So I think some reports say up to 80% of the funds that's donated to charity do not reach the end beneficiaries. So that's a pretty large number. I think given that number, many people are reluctant, myself included, to do charity before. So if I don't have that level of confidence, I think if I give away $100 and only $20 make it to the end, then I'm not very inclined to give that money. So there's a lack of tangibility. So in addition to the non-transparency, to not knowing how much reaches the end beneficiary, I think there's a very strong lack of tangibility. So after I give that donation, where does it go? Who does it help? So I don't know that. With transparency, I will have that tangibility. I will know exactly who it has helped and how many people it have helped. So I will know that, okay, maybe if I donate 100K, you will help 1,011 people and not 1,010 people. So that will be very powerful for me to know. And having that tangibility will at least give me, or I believe most people like me, a sense of strong achievement. I think that sense of achievement will give you purpose. I think that will give us 100 times more return on our investments or our efforts. So I think transparency will help improve all 17 of our sustainable development goals. So that's one of the key factors we want to focus on. So now next slide, please. So now we have a solution staring at us right now, and that's called blockchain. Right? So I think blockchain is pretty much tailor-made to solve this transparency problem. I was very happy with the panel in front of me because they solved a lot of questions for me. So most people here know what blockchain is. Let me ask a slightly tougher question. How many of you have installed a wallet and have had a crypto in your wallets? Raise your hands. Wow, okay, so this talk will be easy. So guys, all of you guys will know that for blockchain, it's an immutable public record, and that is transparent, right? So that's very, very simple. With that, we solve the transparency problem with donations from the beginning all the way to the end beneficiaries. Right now, it's not done yet, and we're going to try to do that. So right now, all the information can be on the blockchain, but the blockchain is not very easy to look at, right? So if you guys work with blockchain explorers, you see a bunch of transactions, you see inputs and outputs. There's not an easy, and I think we got to go one step beyond that to make it easy to use. And we just need a tool. And the tool is very simple. All we need is a website that can show you where your donations go and through the different layers. So Before I show you the solution, let me talk to you a little bit about why we're doing this as well from an industry perspective. We have our agendas as well, and I think it benefits the blockchain industry tremendously to help improving charity work and social impact work. Next slide, please. I think basically, if we are pushing crypto for charity work, for social impact work, it will by default increase the adoption. Adoption is the key thing that we need today in the blockchain industry. So this will now be a very good chance for you to have your coin reach millions of people in a very positive way. And now you can have your coin as the first coin that people learn about in less developed countries, in people who are in need to learn about as the first coin, as the first blockchain concept they encounter. So now we can do this. And I think this is hugely beneficial for any project, for all of our industry. So this is something we're trying to do. Next slide, please. So let me give you a very concrete example of what happened recently. So Japan West had a very serious flood, the worst flood since 1982 in July. I was actually in Switzerland on that day, and when I saw the news, I said we have to do something about it. There were 225 people dead, 13 still missing right now, and 17,000 homes destroyed. This is in a very modern country. This is in a country where disasters happen all the time. They're relatively well prepared for it. So on that day, but the Binance Blockchain Charity Foundation pledged $1 million equivalent in cryptocurrency as a donation to the disastered areas. And I made and then what's interesting is within the next 7 days, out of 60 additional people donated, well, actually 60 transactions, we actually don't know who they are. And that amount amounted to $410,000 in 7 days. So we actually don't know who they are. And all of this came from, next slide, one tweet. So this one tweet, we said, okay, we're going to pledge this money to the charity donation. And 7 days later, just from this one tweet, we raised $400,000. So this is the impact that blockchain could have in this industry. Thank you. So now, today, if you go on this URL or this address, you can see the blockchain transactions. Now there's about 75 transactions so far on this address. And there's 61 or 62 incoming transactions and a few outgoing transactions. And we just published this morning a very detailed article on how we deployed that funds. And the URL on the bottom left explains that. So later on, I will make this slide publicly available, and you can go check it out. And this URL is already published on my Twitter, so you can follow that as well. You will see that it was actually not easy moving this money to the ultimate beneficiary and able to track it in a very transparent way. And we did this one manually, but we now are built a prototype of a system that can do this automatically now. And we will continue to improve it over time, as we do with every one of our initiatives. So next slide, please. Let me briefly describe the architecture of the Blockchain Charity Foundation, or at least the vision that we're trying to achieve in this very high-tech diagram I drew myself. So at the very top level, we have what we call donators, or actually donors. We could have multiple donors that are all willing to give funds to different charity programs. And some of the programs will be managed by us. Some of them don't have to be managed by us. So at the second tier, we have multiple funds. People can choose to donate to whichever charity program funds they want to. And from there, for example, with Binance Charity Foundation, we're not very strong in the last mile. So we usually rely on our local partner. As we did in the Japan West donations, we relied on 4 partners to give the funds to the ultimate beneficiaries. But we could, through time, have direct access to the ultimate beneficiaries. So it's in this level, so you can roughly think of them as 4 layers. There may be more than 4, especially in the 3rd layer. But now we have conceptually, it's extremely easy to track the flow of funds through all these layers. And we can make them 100% transparent. At the same time, for anything that Binance is involved with, we will also pledge that 100% of the donations go to the end beneficiaries. And all the admin costs will be covered by Binance, the company, not the foundation. And thank you. And already we're seeing other projects participating. For example, Tron is a project that came to us directly without any solicitation from us, and they said we want to donate $3 million to your cause, and they have already made that donation. So we're going to put that money into good use. So let's give a round of applause to Tron. So lastly, next slide. So now this URL is live. It just went live today. So Binance.charity. If you have time, go on and have a look. So now on this website, we can now track everything that all the incoming donations onto specific addresses, specific programs, and from there, all the money going out will be tracked on the blockchain. So now we have an automatic tool that can track this now. Unfortunately, the time is quite limited, so I wouldn't show you a live demo. But if you click on it, everything now works, and it's now in a very simple, very easy to understand way. And lastly, I want to say, anybody who has similar solutions, we're extremely supportive. There's no competition in social impact work. I think, and anybody who wants to donate, we're very happy to work with you guys. And right now, there's a flood going on in Uganda, which is a country that we just deployed our team in. And we are making a donation there, somewhere around $500,000-ish. So if you guys want to help, and we will very much appreciate it. So that's pretty much my talk today. So thank you very much. Yeah.